Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Ralph Rasmussen, and you are locked into Radio Bypass, rock and roll that deserves to be heard. And today we've got a great guest joining us. You know him as the guitarist holding down the legacy of Judas Priest, but he's also leading one of the most exciting modern hard rock and metal bands out there right now. And I'm talking about Elegant Weapons. They've just dropped their brand new single, Bridges Burn, and that's from their upcoming album Evolution that's coming out April 24th on Exciter Records. And I'm excited to be joined by the man himself, Richie Faulkner. How you doing, Richie?
Ralph, it's a pleasure to be here. Doing very well, sir. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm super excited. I loved the debut album, Horns for a Halo. And the new album, I think if it's possible, I love it even more. I don't know how I can because I love the first one so much. But it's just really a great record. And I thought, what a great album title, too, for album number 2. And I know you've had a change in the rhythm section and stuff, so I'm wondering, what does Evolution mean to you right now? You know, like what made that become the title of the record?
Well, first of all, thanks for the kind words. You know, Horns for a Halo was great in terms of getting something out there that initially I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, I didn't know if I had a band or a song, or even if the band had a sound. I had no idea. So we put it out, and it was received fairly well. You know, so to do a second album is an honor, really, to be able to do that. And as far as Evolution, you touched on it a little bit there. When it came to touring the first record, Scott Travis and Rex Brown obviously had other commitments with Priest and Pantera, so I had to get another couple of guys into the band with me and Ronnie. So Davey Rimmer from Uriah Heep and Christopher Williams from Accept are great friends of mine. Davey I've known for over 25 years. I was the best man at his wedding. You know, we go way back from, you know, the bars and pubs in London and the UK. And Christopher I've known for years. I asked them, and they... Luckily for me, they accepted, and we went out in Europe and done some dates around Europe and the festivals. Actually, with Pantera, we've done some dates with Pantera as well. So, as far as the band's concerned, we evolved. The band evolved with personnel. We feel like the songs have evolved in terms of who the band is as a character. You know, we feel like there's a different side of the band being shown on this record opposed to the first one. I think the character of the first one is still there, but I think there's another side of the band. You know, it goes somewhere else. So it shows a little bit more of another side to the band, which I think is important. You know, we're growing, we're finding our feet as a band, we're finding out who we are really.
Right.
In terms of songwriting and sound, and also the way we recorded it as well. The first one was recorded during COVID, so you can imagine everyone was in different places, recorded it all separately. But this one, we were able to get together to record the drums, to get that performance from the drums. We played together, me, Davey, and Christopher, got that core drum performance down, you know, where you interact. You know, yeah, exactly. You interact. It's a cohesive. If somebody does something that sparks something else in someone, in the drummer, and vice versa. So you're playing together. You're communicating. If you can lock that in and get that performance, then you can put stuff down afterwards. And with Ronnie as well, we produced Ronnie with Andy Sneap and myself in different studios around the world. But we were on a Zoom call like this, producing Ronnie. We had the lyrics and the melodies. But we changed them as we went along, you know, a different vocal technique or a different microphone, or let's change the wording here or put a different harmony here, or, you know, we built it from the ground up, really. Mm-hmm. So I think Ronnie is great in whatever he does. He's always great, Ronnie, but I think we've got the best performance out of Ronnie that we've got in terms of these two records. And I think there's more Ronnie Romero on this one than the first one, which can only be a good thing, you know. And
I agree.
So that's a few reasons why we called the album Evolution, because we felt like it had evolved on a few levels, and it was obvious really what we were going to call the record.
Yes, yes. Well, that's kind of what I suspected. After hearing the record, I was like, man, that is just the most fitting title, and so that's good. And then I know you've been quoted in some of the material about this record representing growth in every sense. So I guess that's kind of what that is all about, right there, with what you just said.
Yeah, I think we grew as a band, as friends. We've been out on the road together. That brings you closer together. I think we grew in terms of the songs, and I think anyone that listens to the album, there's some stuff on this record that wasn't on the first one. There's a ballad on this record which it wasn't a sign of on the first record,
Right.
And stuff like "Keeper of the Keys." It's not a ballad, but it's somewhere in between. It's heavy on the keyboard, on the Hammond organ, which was played by Adam Wakeman, and "Come Back to Me" as well was also featuring Adam Wakeman. Just again, another side to the band, and it's not like we purposely set out to do something different. Let's do something different this time. That's what was coming out. That's in the writing process, and we thought it's appropriate. That's who we are. That's what's coming out. Let's put it down, and that's who we are. We're still cementing our identity, and that's part of it. So why not?
Right. Well, and I think it's perfect too, because the album flows nicely as a whole piece, and the ballad happens to be one. I think you're talking about "Come Back to Me." Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that is a beautiful song, and Ronnie's performance on that is especially exceptionally good. I think on that song, I have my early favorites right now from the record: "Generation Me," "Come Back to Me," "Rupture," and "Mercy of the Fallen." Those are my top faves at the moment.
Fantastic. No, I appreciate that. As you said about Ronnie, when ballads are difficult, ballads are hard. You've got to kind of connect the listener with that emotion that
Yes.
that you're singing about, and Ronnie is great at that. He's not just a singer; he connects the listener with the emotion of the song. Both on record and live as well. So he's an important piece of that jigsaw. "Come Back to Me," "Keeper of the Keys." Some parts of it are very bare bones. It's vocals, guitar, and keyboards on their own, and the vocals carry it. Not many people can do it like Ronnie. So we're really grateful, really, to have someone like Ronnie on the vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's excellent. And you mentioned working with Andy. You've worked closely with him in Judas Priest also, obviously. What does he bring out of you creatively? What's your working relationship like?
Me and Andy talk every day for the last, it must be like 10 years now. Since he's been working with us with Priest as well, we text every day. It's always about guitars or amplifiers or whatever it might be. Sometimes it gets down to 0.2 or 0.3 of a dB on a kick drum. Like, what do you think about this? You know what I mean? It gets so analytical. But that's who he is. He lives and breathes what he does, and I can only admire him for that. Whether he's on stage with us with Priest or he's in the producer's chair. So Andy kind of respects the sound of the band. He knows that it's obviously different from Priest, like he does with every band that he does. And he kind of leaves some of it to me in terms of the guitar stuff, but he'll definitely crack the whip if he thinks something can be better. He likes things to be precise and clean and well recorded, but he also likes the human element in there as well. He doesn't want it to sound too much like a machine. He wants some movement and some humanity in there, and especially with the vocals. He knows what he's looking for with the vocals, and he'll tell you if it can be better. And he's not just telling you, that can be better for the sake of it. He's on your team, and not many people can tell someone like Rob Halford, that's not good enough, you need to do it again.
Right.
He's got the respect of his track record with the work he's done in the past, so he's got that respect where if he says you can do that better, you believe him, and he gets the best performance out of whoever he's working with. So he's what's the word, he's a lifer, you know what I mean? He's got respect, he's got that back catalogue of artists and who he's worked with, and he's a great person to have on the team, so I respect him.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's talk about the first single that people got a chance to hear, "Bridges Burn," because that song absolutely rips, man. It's so good. It's just got punch right out of the gate. But I was curious, what made you guys decide that was the right track to introduce the new album?
Well, it's exactly that. We wanted to introduce it in the right way, you know. So anyone that hasn't heard the band before, this is the band. This is what we sound like. This is the new members. And this is what you're going to get on the record, really. This is an introduction to the band, and we thought it was appropriate to do it with this track. And to the people that like the first record and know who the band is, it will be like a familiar slice of Elegant Weapons for you, you know. Hopefully this is what they know and like about the band, and get them excited for the new record. And we thought it was a perfect track to introduce both new and old fans to it. And there'll be some surprises along the way, obviously. As I said, you know, the record shows some different sides of the band, but this is what the record's about, and this is what you're about to get. So hopefully they dig it, you know.
Yeah. Well, I did when I first heard it.
Nice.
And then another track that stands out, obviously, is an instrumental piece, "Rupture." And I know the story behind it was your health issue that you dealt with. And when I was reading about that and listening to the song, I had already heard the song before I realized what you were thinking. And after reading the story as to what made you create "Rupture," I was really it hit me in a different way. That had to be kind of emotional. Talk about why you wrote "Rupture," what that's all about.
Well, it's funny, you know, when I'm writing songs, sometimes they create a movie in your mind. You know, when you listen to a piece of music, whatever piece of music it is, sometimes you get an image in your mind, like a movie that plays alongside it. So I came up with the guitar part, and I could hear a pulse, I could hear like a heartbeat, you know, in it, like a heartbeat going through the song, and it brought to my mind like a reference to my own situation a few years ago. You know, although I was completely unconscious for all of it, I could kind of see in the movie someone in a hospital bed tied to, you know, pipes and cables and stuff, chained to all these monitors and machines and stuff and hospital equipment and stuff, and they were going through this kind of struggle, you know, a physical struggle and a mental struggle, trying to stay alive, you know. And that's what I could kind of hear with the heartbeat and everything. And I could hear kind of turmoil in the music, and I could hear hope as well, you know, strength in the music as well. So I kind of went with that kind of imagery. But fortunately, in the song, there's a flat line at the end, obviously, which means the person in the movie kind of flatlines, you know.
Yeah,
luckily I didn't. Obviously, it's more dramatic. It's more dramatic if there's a flat line at the end, obviously. But luckily I didn't. But on the record, then it crashes in with the next tune, which is "Mercy of the Fallen." So to create that drama, you know, it flatlines and then crashes in with the next song. So I thought that was quite a cool dynamic to have on a record. So I went with it. But yeah, it's the way that sort of, you know, your life can affect what you create, and what you create can, you know, you can make references to your own life, you know, and inspire your own music by what happens to yourself, you know. Again, luckily I didn't flatline, so it wasn't like a direct comparison, but I could kind of refer to what happened to me in the creation of the song. So it's quite interesting in that way, I think.
Very much so, because, you know, with what happened to you, I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, oh my gosh, I was putting myself in that place. You know, you're a strong man, because I'd have been scared to death, you know, that, and I assume you got to be careful ongoing, right? I mean,
yeah, well, anything like that happens. I mean, luckily I didn't know it was coming. You know, a lot of those sort of things that happen to you, you don't know they're coming, and they happen, and fortunately you come out the other side of it, you know. And then moving on, as you said, you've got to make various changes in lifestyle, but I've been fairly lucky, you know. There's people out there that have had a lot more grave challenges than I have, you know. So I consider myself lucky that the things I have to do aren't really that difficult. Diet, exercise. Some of the hardest things to do are remember to take my pills. You know what I mean? So, you know, right. Stuff like that. So I'm pretty lucky, really, and grateful to everyone that worked that day it happened, that evening it happened, to save my life, really. But yeah, it's one of those things. You kind of gives you a new sense of appreciation for a lot of things, and life being one of them. Life's short, and you kind of learn to value it in a different way after that sort of stuff.
Sure, I imagine. Yeah, wake up call that you kind of didn't need, though.
Yeah, I would have happily done without it. Yeah.
And so, again, because of the nature of what you were thinking with this song, was it difficult to put it together at all? Did you get emotional at all?
Not really, no.
No.
I don't really, dwell too much on, that sort of stuff. I kind of part of the recovery was getting over that sort of stuff, and getting back out on the road, getting back on the guitar, getting back out to performing was part of that recovery. So once you get that under your belt, you're kind of footloose and fancy free. I remember there was a gig we had with Priest at the Louder Than Life festival. I think it was in 24 or 25. I can't remember. I played that stage again where it all happened, and we played Painkiller again on the stage at the festival where it happened. And I had a little moment to myself where when it happened, I tried to lift the guitar above my head, and everything's shutting down. I didn't know it. Everything's shutting down. I had no strength. I was feeling faint, and I couldn't lift the guitar above my head. So I knew something's wrong.
Sure.
So when we went back in 24, 25, played the same festival, just as a little note to myself, I lifted the guitar above my head and just looked out, over the crowd, and just had a little moment to myself, just like a little win. A little win. I've gone back and I've done that. That little thing meant a million. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, it meant the world to me just to do that little thing, and then move on. So that was quite a powerful thing for me, just to do that thing and then move on. So yeah, everything, you can imagine.
Yeah, that's great. And then going back to the band, we've already kind of touched a little bit on the great lineup here, but what do you feel makes the band click? This lineup that you have together now.
I I can't talk for myself. The three guys, the other guys in the band, they make me sound good. You know what I mean? Obviously, I've kind of put this thing together. I kind of spearhead the whole thing, but they're the guys that. The rhythm section on this record is phenomenal. Davey and Christopher, right from the word go, when we had the drums and the bass down, it just really took it to another level, I think. And that's not saying anything against Scott and Rex. Scott and Rex were great on the first record, and Christopher and Davey are great on this one. I just think, when that came together, after playing live, I think it had something to do with it. It brought us close together. Of course, Ronnie Romero. So the three of them in this band on this record just really pushed things up a notch, So that really, the four of us that come together on this record moved it up, hopefully another notch. Hopefully people listen to it and they get the same feeling as well. And I can't wait to hear people's reactions to what we think are some of our best, our strongest songs, and see what people think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think you're going to get a very warm response on this record. And then you've changed record labels as well. Exciter is not who released the first album. So what made them the right fit for Elegant Weapons for round two?
Well, Exciter were put together. They got the first two Priest records from Gold Records. The Gold Records have owned those records since the beginning, I think. So Exciter was set up to take on those two records, and they saw Elegant Weapons as an extension of the Priest family. They've got two records by Priest. Elegant Weapons is their next signing as such, so continues that family with the Priest. And I'm the only artist on there at the moment, so it's a direct relationship with the label, which I wanted. There's no sort of middleman or miscommunication. We deal with each other directly, which I'm really a fan of. And it also means that we've got a launch now. We've got an album launch now, and sometimes you have an album launch with a label, and you do your promotion. The album comes out. That's it. With this, what it means is we're doing a push now. We're doing some promotion. We're getting the record out. In a couple of months, we can do another one. If we think, let's do something else, let's release something else, let's do a bonus track, or let's release something like a limited edition, something or whatever. We've got the power to do it, and I think it's a lot more hands-on. It's a lot more intimate, and that was appealing to me really in a record label, especially the one on. I say one-on-one, but it's their group and our group when we communicate kind of one-to-one like that. So yeah, it was attractive to me. So that's what I chose to do.
Got it. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear you're going to get that kind of support from them. That's awesome. And have that kind of relationship. So Evolution comes out on the 24th of April. So we're about, as we talk today, just about a month away from the release. Will Elegant Weapons, I don't know what Judas Priest schedule's like right now, will Elegant Weapons be able to go out and support the record with some live dates?
We live to play live. I think 99% of bands will tell you the same thing. And we live to play live. You get tighter as a band, closer as a band, and you create, I think, a connection with the audience with the songs. There's so many bands you see when you're younger. You see them live, and it creates a lifelong relationship with them.
It did for me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's really important to us. So Priest are out in the summer. We're going out in Europe in the summer. So we're looking at dates after that with Weapons. Maybe into the fall, into the autumn, and maybe into the last part of the year. And as I said, maybe we can release something at the same time. We can do a tour with another release of something, maybe the vinyl, limited edition vinyl release or something. But we're looking at all options. So we're looking at Europe, we're looking at the States, we're looking at Japan, South America. Whoever wants us, we'll come and play. So we're looking at those options now, and no doubt you'll hear about it when those dates are confirmed.
Right. Which, of course, everybody, I was going to say, you need to follow these guys on social media so you know what's going on with the band. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Is there any, if you do get a chance to go out this fall with Elegant Weapons, is there any song in particular from the new record that you're excited to get out there and play live?
I'd like to play, Generation Me, I think. Generation Me is one of my favorites of the record. When I'm writing songs, I never write something start to finish in one go. There's always like a piece of this and a piece of that, and I put them together like that. And sometimes I don't know where the record's going. I don't know what direction it's going in. But Generation Me came together pretty quickly, and it determined where the album was going for me. So it was the first one that was complete, and it determined where the record's going. So it's an important one for me. So I'd like to play that one live, and I'd like to Keeper of the Keys. I'd like to play that live, with all the keyboards and stuff and the Hammond on there and everything. I think that could be a pretty special song live as well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what makes the set list. That's an exciting thing to do as well. We've got 2 records out now, so we've got to decide. Look, before we didn't have enough songs to play, an hour and a half set. But now we've got enough, so we've got to see what will make up the set list, and that will be an interesting challenge, really. So, yeah, it'll be exciting. But I think definitely those 2, Generation Me and Keeper of the Keys, I'd like to play live.
Gotcha. And with Elegant Weapons, Judas Priest, does Elegant Weapons for you differ creatively than what you're doing with Judas Priest?
Stylistically, yes. But the process is the same. I'll come up with a riff or a melody or something, and I'll work on it and put it down, put it in a file. As I said, rarely is it start to finish, so I'll put it in a file, and it's usually fairly obvious what band it's going to be. Obviously, Priest has its sound and its characteristic, and luckily, Weapons does as well. So if I'm writing something, that goes in the Priest file, and if it's something else, it will go in the Weapons file. So, but the process is the same. It comes out of the guitar in the same way, and I record it the same way. So that's lucky in that regard. And it's just what file it's going to go into.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I should compliment you on the last Priest album too, Invincible Shield. That was great.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, one last thing for anybody that's just discovering Elegant Weapons, possibly, or even somebody like me that's been a fan since this fine record here. What do you hope they take away from the new record?
That's a good question, really. That's a really good question. I can't really. I mean, if they give it the time and listen, I think in this day and age is an amazing thing. There's so many distractions in the world, online and in the world, and everything's fast these days. So if someone gives it the time to listen to, that's all I can ask for, really. Whether they like it or they don't, that's up to them. But I think all I can ask for is whether they can listen to it. and we'd love to see. We'd love them to, like it and come to a show in the future, obviously. But yeah, I'd love that. I'd love them. I can't decide for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if they listen to it and love it, then yeah, come along to the socials and follow us, and hopefully we'll see you at a gig in the near future.
Got it. And in my opinion, guys, you should love this record because you can tell that it's created from the heart, and it's just so well done. Will there be one more single coming out prior to April 24th?
I think there'll be one around that time. Yeah, I think that's the plan, to put one around on the 24th or around that time. And I think you might be pleased which one it is. I don't want to tell you because it might not be that one, but I think I know which one it is, and you might be pleased with the choice.
Okay, that's a good hint, Richie. That's a good hint. All right. Well, Richie, thank you so much for stopping by Radio Bypass. I'm so excited to get a chance to talk with you and connect with you. And I'm so excited about Evolution. It is just, I can't say enough good things about it. It's just such a well done record, and I really feel that, when I was young, a lot of albums, people would talk about the sophomore slump, that a lot of bands, their second album wasn't as good as the first, and there was always all the talk, well, that's because we had years before we made the first record to get ready for it, didn't have much time to create the second one. But in your case, I'd say there's no sophomore slump, and I think you've taken what was already an excellent set of music from Horns for a Halo, and you did evolve it another step. It's just that good.
I appreciate that, Ralph. Thanks for your kind words, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, everybody. We've been talking with Richie Faulkner. So glad to have him on Radio Bypass. The new album, Evolution, will be out April 24th on Exciter Records. You can pre-order it now at exciterrecords.com. For more interviews, more rock, and more music that deserves to be heard, stay here with Radio Bypass. I'm Ralph Rasmussen. Don't go away. We're going to crank up some Elegant Weapons right now. This is the first single that's been out there. As Richie said, great introduction to this album. So turn it up just a little bit more now, guys. Here comes Bridges Burn from Elegant Weapons.
Take the fall, torch it all.